Kate Mitchell stared at the holographic message floating above her desk for the 5th time that morning. The blue text from the Galactic Council still felt like a slap in the face. Quantum tunneling technology clearance, DE&IE. Reason: species technological capability insufficient. She ran her fingers through her short brown hair and glanced around the Luna Quantum Research Center's main lab. The facility, built into the moon's Tycho crater, represented humanity's greatest scientific achievement. Yet the aliens still treated them like children playing with toys. Peter Harrison walked in, carrying 2 cups of coffee. His usual cheerful expression dropped when he saw Kate's face. They rejected it again. Worse. Kate waved her hand through the hologram. They said we're too primitive to even attempt it. That our minds can't grasp the basic concepts needed for quantum tunneling. Peter set the coffee down and leaned against the desk. Well, they might be right about one thing. We don't think like they do. A small smile played at the corners of his mouth. Maybe that's exactly what we need. Kate looked up at him, her eyes narrowing. What do you mean? The Galactic Council races. They're all logical to a fault. Everything has to follow their established rules, their patterns. Peter pulled up their latest test results. But humans? We dream. We imagine. We feel our way through problems. The data from their recent experiments floated in the air between them. Failed attempts at quantum field manipulation, all following the standard alien protocols. But there, in the corner of one test, a strange anomaly caught Kate's eye. Look at this spike here, she pointed. It happened when Joey from engineering got excited about his daughter's first steps. He was watching the video while monitoring the quantum field. Peter's eyes widened. The field actually stabilized for a fraction of a second. They spent the next few hours reviewing other failed tests. A pattern emerged. Human emotional states seemed to affect quantum fields in ways the aliens had never documented. The logical races had always treated quantum mechanics as pure mathematics, but what if there was more to it? Kate began pacing, her mind racing. What if quantum fields respond to consciousness? Not just observation, like we've always known, but to actual human consciousness. Our emotions, our intuition. The aliens would say that's impossible, Peter said, but he was already pulling up new simulation models. They said reaching the moon was impossible for us once, Kate replied. They said we'd never develop AI without their help. They said a lot of things. She stopped pacing and faced the wall of achievements that decorated their lab. Photos of the first lunar colony, the Mars terraforming project, the Europa deep sea exploration. All accomplished by humans, despite alien doubts. Peter started typing rapidly. We could design a new interface, something that doesn't just measure quantum fields, but actually connects with them through human brainwave patterns. We'd need a team, Kate said, already making lists in her head. People who think differently, who aren't bound by conventional physics. And we'd need to keep it quiet, Peter added. The council monitors all registered quantum research. Kate smiled, feeling a familiar surge of determination. Then we don't register it. We call it something else. Basic neural pattern research, maybe. They worked through the night, fueled by coffee and the pure excitement of discovery. As the Earth rose over the lunar horizon, casting a blue glow through the lab's windows, they had the beginnings of a plan. They think we can't do it because we're not logical enough, Kate said, watching the Earth shine against the black sky. But maybe that's exactly why we'll succeed, because we don't know it's impossible. Peter nodded, adding the final touches to their proposal. Should we tell the director? Kate thought about it for a moment. Not yet. Let's get some preliminary results first, something they can't ignore or shut down. She picked up her coffee cup, now empty, and smiled. After all, it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. That's another thing the aliens don't understand, Peter laughed. Human stubbornness, Kate asked. That too, but I was thinking of human hope. He looked at their work, scattered across multiple screens and holograms. We believe in impossible things, and then we make them possible. The quantum field sensors hummed quietly in the background, unaware that they were about to become part of humanity's next great leap forward, one that would prove the Galactic Council wrong once again. 3 months after their late-night discovery, Kate and Peter's secret project had grown. Their small lab in the corner of the Luna Quantum Research Center now buzzed with activity that they carefully labeled as Advanced Neural Mapping Research. Dr. Lisa Baker, their newest team member, adjusted the sensors on a test subject's head. The quantum field responds differently to each person, she explained, watching the readings flow across her screen. It's like everyone has their own quantum fingerprint. The test subject, a young engineer named Derek Ward, sat perfectly still in the testing chamber. His eyes were closed, but his mind was active, thinking about the patterns they had asked him to visualize. Look at this. Lisa pointed to a sudden spike in the readings. The field actually stabilized for almost 3 seconds when he thought about his favorite childhood memory. Kate leaned closer to the screen, her heart racing with excitement. They were onto something big, something the aliens had never even considered. The logical races had always treated quantum mechanics as pure mathematics, missing the human element entirely. Commander Ryan Fuller walked into the lab, his Space Force uniform crisp despite the late hour. "How's our little science project coming along?" he asked, keeping his voice low. "Better than we hoped," Peter replied, pulling up their latest results. "We're seeing patterns that the Council said were impossible. The quantum field doesn't just respond to observation. It responds to emotion, to memory, to human consciousness itself." Ryan studied the data, his military training helping him see the strategic implications. "If this works, we won't just have faster-than-light travel. We'll have something uniquely human, something they can't copy or counter." "Exactly," Kate said. "But we need more time. And more resources. That might be a problem." Ryan handed her a tablet. "The Council's getting suspicious. They've scheduled an inspection of all quantum research facilities next month." The team gathered around, their faces reflecting the blue glow of the screens. They had come too far to stop now. "What if we move the project?" Lisa suggested. "Find somewhere off the grid." Derek opened his eyes in the testing chamber, the sensors still attached to his head. "I think I know a place," he said through the intercom. "My uncle has an old mining facility in Arizona. Underground. Private. Perfect for hiding unusual energy signatures." Kate looked at Ryan. "Can you help us relocate without raising alarms?" The commander smiled. "Give me 3 days. I'll have everything arranged." They worked around the clock, carefully documenting their research while preparing for the move. Peter developed a way to mask their energy signatures as standard medical equipment. Lisa refined her neural interface designs to look like ordinary medical scanners. On the night before the move, Kate stood at the lab's window, watching Earth hang in the black sky. Peter joined her, holding 2 cups of coffee, just like the night this all started. "Having second thoughts?" he asked. Kate shook her head. "No, just thinking about what this means. The Council didn't just say we couldn't do it. They said we shouldn't even try. That we weren't ready." "And what do you think now?" "I think they're afraid," Kate said slowly. "Not of the technology, but of how we think, how we feel, how we dream. They can't understand it, so they try to control it." The quantum field sensors hummed in the background, their readings showing small spikes that corresponded with Kate's rising determination. Lisa noticed it from her workstation and quickly saved the data. More proof that human emotions could stabilize quantum fields in ways pure logic never could. "Tomorrow we start the real work," Ryan said, joining them at the window. "No more hiding behind neural research labels. We're going to prove them wrong." "And if we fail?" Peter asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. Kate smiled, her reflection in the window overlapping with the distant Earth. "Then we'll fail trying. That's what humans do. We try the impossible, we fail, we learn, and we try again. And again. until the impossible becomes possible. Behind them, the quantum field pulsed steadily, responding to their shared determination. In its patterns, visible only to those who knew where to look, lay the future of human space travel, and a revolution the Galactic Council never saw coming. The underground facility in Arizona hummed with energy as Kate's team prepared for their first major test. 6 weeks had passed since their hurried relocation from the moon, and the old mining tunnels now housed a web of advanced equipment. Derek adjusted the final connections on their quantum field generator, while Lisa monitored the neural interface systems. Peter stood at the main control panel, running through the checklist one last time. "All systems are ready," Peter announced, his voice echoing slightly in the cavernous space. "Starting the quantum field generation in 3, 2, 1. The air seemed to shimmer as the generator powered up. Lisa watched the neural interface readings closely. "Field is stable. Beginning human consciousness integration." Kate held her breath. This was the moment they had been working toward. Their first attempt at creating a stable quantum tunnel using human brainwave patterns as a guide. Suddenly, all the screens lit up with activity. The quantum field wasn't just stable. It was growing, responding to the combined mental patterns of everyone in the room. "This is incredible," Lisa whispered, watching the readings. "The field is actually feeding off our collective consciousness. It's..." A harsh alarm cut through the excitement. Ryan rushed to the security monitors, his face going pale. "We've got company. Multiple ships entering Earth's atmosphere. They're heading straight for us." The main screen flickered to life with an incoming transmission. A tall, gray-skinned figure appeared. Chief Researcher Zix-427 from the Proxima Centauri Research Station. "Dr. Mitchell." The alien's voice was cold and precise. "You will cease your unauthorized experiments immediately. Your quantum field emissions have been detected as far as the Proxima system." Kate stepped forward, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "Our research is a private human endeavor. You have no authority here. You are attempting quantum tunneling without council approval," Zix-427 stated. "This is a violation of galactic law. Your species is not cleared for such technology." Behind Kate, the quantum field continued to pulse, growing stronger with each passing second. Lisa's monitors showed it responding to the rising tension in the room, becoming more focused, more stable. "Look at these readings," Peter said quietly to Kate. "The field isn't just stable, it's perfect. Our emotions, our stress response, it's all feeding into it." Zix-427's eyes narrowed. "Your primitive emotional states are exactly why you cannot be trusted with this technology. You will shut down your equipment, or we will be forced to take action." Ryan moved closer to Kate. 3 ships in orbit, 2 more approaching. They're positioning themselves for a potential energy-dampening field. Kate looked around at her team, seeing the determination in their faces. Then she looked back at the alien on the screen. "You're right about one thing," she said. "We are emotional. We feel fear, anger, hope, determination. But that's not our weakness. It's our strength." She nodded to Peter, who began typing rapidly. The quantum field surged, responding to their collective will. "What are you doing?" Zix-427 demanded. "Stop this immediately." "The field is reaching critical stability," Lisa reported, her voice filled with excitement. "It's working exactly as we theorized. Human emotions aren't disrupting the quantum matrix. They're perfecting it." The air in the center of the room began to ripple, forming what looked like a pond of liquid starlight. The quantum tunnel was forming, stable and controlled, powered by something the aliens had never considered: human consciousness itself. "This is your final warning," Zix-427 said, but there was something new in the alien's voice. Was it fear? Or maybe, just maybe, the first glimmer of understanding? "No," Kate replied firmly. "This is yours. Humanity will not be held back by your limitations. We're about to show you what impossible really means." The quantum tunnel solidified, its surface reflecting the determination on every human face in the room. In that moment, as alarms blared and alien ships closed in, Kate and her team stood on the brink of changing everything. Not just the future of space travel, but the very relationship between humanity and the galaxy. And they weren't about to stop now. The next 48 hours in the Arizona facility passed in a blur of activity. The team worked non-stop to maintain their quantum tunnel while avoiding the alien ship's attempts to shut them down. Admiral John Martinez arrived just in time, bringing with him a small fleet of Earth defense ships to keep the aliens at bay. The council is in an uproar, John told Kate as they watched Amy Collins, their engineering specialist, install new safety systems. They'd never seen anything like this. A quantum tunnel that actually becomes more stable with human interaction. It goes against everything they thought they knew. Kate nodded, dark circles under her eyes from lack of sleep. That's because they never bothered to really understand us. They saw our emotions as flaws, not features. Across the room, Lisa worked with Derek to refine the neural interface. The quantum tunnel shimmered in its containment field, its surface rippling like water whenever someone walked past it. The aliens are trying to convince the Earth government to shut us down, Ryan reported, walking in with fresh coffee for everyone. But they're having trouble explaining why our primitive approach is working better than their approved methods. Peter laughed from his workstation. Maybe because their methods don't account for human stubbornness. Amy stepped back from her work, wiping sweat from her forehead. The containment field is stronger now. They won't be able to disrupt it with their dampening technology. John watched the young engineer with approval. Good work, but we need more than just defense. We need to prove this technology is safe and controllable. Already on it, Derek called out. He pulled up a holographic display showing the quantum field patterns. Look at this. When we're calm and focused, the tunnel is completely stable. When we're excited or stressed, it actually becomes more efficient. It's like the quantum field is adapting to our emotional states. Lisa added, and not just individually. The field responds to our collective emotional state. It's stronger when we work together, when we share a common goal. Kate walked up to the tunnel's edge, watching the strange patterns swirl across its surface. We need to document everything. Show them that this isn't just a fluke or a dangerous experiment. This is the future of space travel. And how do we do that? Ryan asked, though his smile suggested he already knew the answer. We send something through, Kate replied. Something small at first, then bigger. We prove that our method works. The team gathered around as Amy set up their first test object, a small probe equipped with sensors and cameras. They had built it in secret over the past weeks, preparing for this moment. Ready for initial transport test, Amy announced. All systems are go. Peter typed in the launch sequence while Lisa monitored the neural interface readings. The whole team focused their attention on the probe, their shared concentration making the quantum tunnel surface smooth as glass. Launch in 3, 2, 1. Peter pressed the final button. The probe moved forward smoothly, touching the tunnel surface. For a moment, it seemed to hang there, suspended between spaces. Then, with a soft pulse of light, it vanished. Probe status, Kate asked, her voice tense. Derek checked his readings. Signal is strong. It's exactly where we aimed it. Just outside Mars orbit, perfectly intact. The team erupted in cheers. John clapped Cave on the shoulder, his face beaming with pride. You did it. You actually did it. We did it, Kate corrected him, looking around at her team. And this is just the beginning. Ryan's communicator beeped. The alien ships are pulling back, he reported. I think they finally realize they can't stop us. They can't stop us, Peter agreed, because they can't understand us. And that's exactly why we'll succeed where they failed. The quantum tunnel pulsed softly, responding to their triumph, their pride, their determination. In that moment, Kate knew they had done more than just prove the aliens wrong. They had shown that humanity's greatest perceived weakness, their emotions, was actually their greatest strength. And soon, They would show the galaxy just how far that strength could take them. The success with the probe changed everything. Within days, the underground facility transformed into a launch center as the team prepared for their next big step: human travel through the quantum tunnel. Captain Susan Fletcher stood before the modified ship they had named Improbable, running her hand along its smooth hull. As an experienced test pilot, she had flown many experimental craft, but nothing like this. The neural interface is installed in the cockpit, Lisa explained, walking Susan through the ship's systems. It will connect you and Paul directly to the quantum field. Your combined consciousness will guide the ship through the tunnel. Paul Bennett, the navigation officer, sat in his seat, testing the neural sensors. It feels different from the simulators, he said. More alive somehow. Kate watched from the control room as Amy and Derek made final adjustments to the ship's systems. The quantum tunnel hummed nearby, its surface rippling with anticipation. The Council has issued their final warning, Ryan reported, walking in with a tablet. They say if we attempt human transport, they'll consider it an act of aggression. John snorted. They're just afraid. For the first time, humans have surpassed their technology. They can't stand it. All systems are ready, Peter announced. Neural interfaces are online and stable. Quantum field is responding perfectly to the crew's presence. Susan and Paul completed their pre-flight checks. The rest of the team took their positions at the control stations. The moment they had all worked toward was finally here. Remember, Kate spoke into the comm. The quantum field responds to emotion. Stay focused, but don't try to suppress your feelings. Let them guide you. Understood, Susan replied, her voice steady despite the tension. Paul and I have been practicing. Our neural patterns are in sync. The launch countdown began. The quantum tunnel surface smoothed out, responding to the crew's concentrated focus. Energy readings climbed steadily as the ship's systems powered up. 10 seconds to launch, Peter called out. Neural interface at optimal levels. In the ship, Susan and Paul felt the quantum field through their neural connection. It wasn't just data anymore. It was like a living thing, responding to their thoughts and emotions. 5 seconds. The alien ships in orbit made one last attempt to intervene, activating their dampening fields. But Amy's protective systems held strong, shielding the facility. 3, 2, 1. Susan pushed the throttle forward. The Improbable moved smoothly toward the tunnel, its hull gleaming in the quantum light. As they approached the boundary, she felt Paul's consciousness merge with hers through the neural interface, their shared determination creating a perfect harmony with the quantum field. Contact in 3 seconds, Paul reported. His voice was calm, but his excitement fed into the field, making it pulse with energy. The ship's nose touched the tunnel surface. For a moment, everything seemed to pause. Then, with a flash of light that lit up the whole facility, the Improbable slipped through. Signal is strong, Derek reported, watching his monitors. Neural connection maintaining stability. They're doing it. The team held their breath, watching the readings. Seconds stretched into minutes as they tracked the ship's quantum signature moving through space at impossible speeds. Then Susan's voice came through, clear and triumphant. Control, this is Improbable. We've reached the target coordinates. The tunnel worked perfectly. We're in orbit around Mars. The control room erupted in cheers. Kate hugged Peter, both of them laughing with joy and relief. Lisa wiped tears from her eyes as she monitored the neural readings. The alien ships are backing off, Ryan reported with a grin. I think they finally realize they can't stop what's happening. John nodded, looking at the scene with pride. They said humans couldn't handle quantum tunneling, that our emotions made us too unstable, too unpredictable. They were right about one thing, Kate replied, watching the readings from humanity's first quantum jump. We are unpredictable. That's what makes us special. That's what makes us human. Through the neural link, they could feel Susan and Paul's joy, their wonder at what they had achieved. The quantum field pulsed with their emotions, proving once and for all that humanity's greatest weakness was actually its greatest strength. The success of the Improbable's first flight changed everything. As Susan and Paul guided the ship back through another perfect quantum jump to Earth, the Galactic Council ships could only watch in amazement. Their sensors confirmed what they had thought impossible. Humans had mastered quantum tunneling in their own unique way. Linda Martinez, chief engineer and daughter of Admiral John Martinez, worked furiously at her station, recording every detail of the quantum field's behavior. "Look at these readings," she called out to Kate. "The field isn't just stable. It's getting stronger with each jump. It's like it's learning from Susan and Paul's emotional patterns." The Improbable emerged from the quantum tunnel smoothly, settling into its landing position. The ship's hull glowed faintly with residual quantum energy, a sight that made the alien observers even more nervous. "Multiple council ships approaching," Ryan announced from his security station. "But they're not in attack formation. They're requesting permission to observe." Kate smiled. "Granted. Let them see exactly what humans can do." As Susan and Paul exited their ship, their faces glowing with excitement, Linda made an unexpected discovery. "The quantum field is maintaining stability even after the jump," she reported. "It's being sustained by the residual emotional imprint from the crew. This is completely new physics." The alien observers, led by a stunned Zix-427, entered the facility under Ryan's watchful eye. The council scientist couldn't hide his amazement as he studied the readings. "Impossible," he muttered, his gray skin taking on a lighter shade of astonishment. "The quantum field should be chaotic, unstable. Your emotional states should be disrupting it. Instead, they're enhancing it." "Emotions aren't just random noise," Linda explained, her pride evident in her voice. "They're patterns. Complex, dynamic patterns that the quantum field responds to. While you were trying to suppress them, we learned to work with them." Peter pulled up the comparison data. "Look here," he pointed to the screens. "Traditional quantum tunneling requires absolute zero temperatures and perfect vacuum. Our method works at normal temperatures, guided by human consciousness. The field adapts to our mental state," Lisa added. "When we're focused but relaxed, it's stable. When we're excited, it becomes more energetic but remains controlled. It's like dancing. You have to feel the rhythm, not fight it." Susan and Paul joined them, still wearing their flight suits. "It felt natural," Susan reported. "Like the quantum field was an extension of our thoughts. We didn't have to force it. We just had to trust our instincts." Zix-427 shook his head in disbelief. "Our scientists spent centuries trying to eliminate the consciousness effect from quantum experiments. We saw it as contamination." "That was your mistake," Kate said gently. "You can't eliminate consciousness from quantum mechanics. It's fundamental to how the universe works. We just learned to use it instead of fighting it." The facility buzzed with activity as more data poured in. The quantum tunnel pulsed steadily, responding to the mix of triumph, pride, and excitement in the room. Even the alien observers could see how it brightened when humans walked near it, like a pet responding to its owners. "The Council will have to reconsider everything," Zix-427 admitted. "Your approach to quantum tunneling. It changes our understanding of physics itself." "It changes more than that," John said, putting his arm around his daughter's shoulders. "It proves that being different isn't a weakness. Humanity's emotions, our intuition, our ability to think outside your logical boxes, these aren't flaws to be corrected. They're strengths to be embraced." Linda's monitors beeped with new data. "The quantum field is showing signs of even greater stability," she reported excitedly. I think it's actually becoming more attuned to human consciousness with each use. We're not just using the field. We're forming a relationship with it." Kate watched as her team continued their work, their success only driving them to push further, dream bigger. The aliens had said it couldn't be done, but humans had found a way. Not by following the Council's rules, but by being true to their own nature. And this was just the beginning. 6 months after the Improbable's historic flight, the underground facility in Arizona had become the center of a new era in human-alien cooperation. Dr. Oliver Woods stood at the front of the newly built lecture hall, addressing the first class of the Human-Alien Quantum Academy. The audience was unlike any other in human history. Young scientists from Earth sat beside alien researchers, all eager to learn about the breakthrough that had changed galactic travel forever. The key to quantum tunneling isn't in suppressing consciousness, Oliver explained, gesturing to the active quantum tunnel visible through the observation window. It's in understanding how consciousness shapes reality at the quantum level. Kate watched from the back of the room, feeling proud of how far they had come. Beside her, Peter checked the latest data from the growing network of human-operated quantum tunnels that now connected Earth to colonies across the solar system. The Mars colony is requesting another transport window, he whispered to Kate. They're expanding faster than anyone expected, now that we can move people and supplies instantly. At the quantum tunnel control station, Linda worked with a young alien scientist, showing her how to interpret the emotional patterns that stabilize the field. The alien's usual rigid posture had relaxed as she learned to feel the quantum field's response rather than just calculate it. It's like learning a new sense, the alien scientist said, her eyes wide with wonder. We spent so long trying to remove emotion from the equation, we never considered it might be the solution. Susan and Paul entered the facility, returning from another successful test flight. They had been pushing the boundaries of quantum travel, discovering that human intuition could navigate quantum space in ways the aliens' computers never could. The new neural interface designs are working perfectly, Lisa reported, reviewing their flight data. The quantum field responds even more strongly to trained pilots now. It's like it recognizes them. Admiral John looked over the latest reports from the Galactic Council. They're officially recognizing human quantum tunneling as a legitimate and safe method of faster-than-light travel, he announced. All restrictions on human quantum research have been lifted. The announcement brought smiles to everyone's faces, but they were already focused on the future. Amy was working with a team of human and alien engineers, designing the next generation of quantum ships. Derek had begun exploring how human consciousness could be used in other areas of quantum physics. Dr. Mitchell, Oliver called from the lecture hall. Would you like to share your thoughts with our students? Kate walked to the front of the room, looking out at the eager faces, human and alien alike. The quantum tunnel pulsed behind her, responding to the mixture of emotions in the room. When the council told us quantum tunneling was impossible for humans, they weren't completely wrong, she began. It was impossible, the way they were trying to do it. But that's the thing about humans. When someone tells us something's impossible, we don't give up. We find another way. She gestured to the tunnel, to the ships being built, to the mixed groups of humans and aliens working together. We succeeded because we stopped trying to do it their way. We embraced what made us different, our emotions, our intuition, our ability to think beyond pure logic. And in doing so, we didn't just master quantum tunneling. We changed how the galaxy thinks about consciousness itself. Ryan, standing by the security station, smiled as another group of alien ships arrived, not to stop them this time, but to learn from them. The quantum tunnel brightened, picking up on the sense of pride and accomplishment that filled the room. The council thought emotions made us primitive, Kate continued. But emotions are patterns, just like everything else in the universe. Complex, beautiful patterns that shape reality at the quantum level. We just had to learn to work with them instead of against them. Oliver stepped forward. And that's what we're here to teach. Not just the science of quantum tunneling, but a new way of looking at the universe. A way that combines logic and emotion, calculation and intuition, alien precision, and human creativity. The quantum tunnel pulsed one final time, as if agreeing with his words. In its shimmering surface, humans could see their future, a future they had fought for, one they had been told was impossible. But then, impossible had never stopped humanity before. And it never would.